Hello there, and welcome to the Celtic Druid channel. And thank you all for those who watched my last video around my hometown, and for the positive comments on YouTube and Facebook, and for my new subscribers. I'm Andrew, this is Nicholas.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about the Yorkshire Ripper, all due to the new drama that's been showing on ITV1 called The Long Shadow. Now it's a mini drama, 7 parts long, and it's okay so far. There's not gratuitous violence in there or any graphic details of the murder that took place, but like I say, it's on 7 parts on the Monday nights, and the cast is Catherine Kelly from Coronation Street, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember Catherine Kelly.
Yeah, and of course Liz White as well, Elizabeth White, who also, she's playing a police officer in this, and she also played a police officer in Life on Mars. Oh, incredibly sexy in that uniform, isn't she, Nick? And indeed she is. And of course, David Morrissey as George Oldfield, who was the inspector. Was he, or detective, was he back in there?
Something like that, detective or inspector.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Peter William Sutcliffe was known as the Yorkshire Ripper. He was dubbed that name by the press. He was an English serial killer, and from the north of England, Yorkshire. He was Bradford, he was from, wasn't it? And he was married to his wife Sonia, who was suffering from schizophrenia, and he seemed to have imitated her symptoms to fool the courts as well. He was, convicted of killing 13 women from 1975 to 1980, and he was sentenced to life in prison, and so it should be, because life should mean life. What do you think?
Absolutely.
You take a life. I mean, if you kill someone, they are not really being punished. They're well out of it, aren't they? So Sutcliffe suffered in more ways than one, because he had diabetes, he was attacked, he had that COVID as well, which finally saw him off. But he targeted prostitutes in the red light area of Yorkshire, and no woman was safe because they weren't all prostitutes as well. Yeah. And he was interviewed no less than 9 times. 9 times! Would you believe that?
Yeah.
Obviously you've got to understand that technology wasn't advanced then as it is now, and DNA, if anything, was in its infancy. So it was difficult, but I mean, it didn't take a genius to work out that the man they saw in the photo fit was almost exactly like him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was that girl, Tracy Brown, who described him as a beard and Jason King hair and beard, whatever. But it's unbelievable that he was interviewed 9 times, and he was put on file, and he was often seen in the red light district. Now, I can remember these murders going on, can you? Seeing it on the news?
Yeah.
I was at the junior school, and everyone,
at the time, yeah.
And everyone was talking about it. Even my mother was worried about him coming down here to Wales and attack. And the ironic thing is that he did come down here, because he was a long distance lorry driver, and he came down to the town of Blackwood, which is just 3 miles from here, and he used to deliver in somewhere in Blackwood, and there was documents that he signed that was a proof. And can you remember what it was in Blackwood that he delivered?
Oh no, I don't know, but I remember him delivering them. I remember the proof that the delivering that was, but he didn't do. All he did was just deliver. He didn't attack anybody. Where's he?
No, not that I know. But anyway, he was eventually stopped by just 2 ordinary police officers who was not on the Ripper investigation team in January 1981. On the 2nd of January, so he was taken to Dewsbury in Yorkshire, and he was interviewed all that weekend, I think, because they stopped him on a routine check, didn't they? by 2 police officers. I can't remember the names.
No.
But he was interviewed, and that's when he confessed to killing all of them. Even though there's some crazy people out there said he wasn't working alone. There was somebody else, somebody called Bill Tracy, and some author who claims that this was an Irish fella called Bill Tracy who was the real Ripper, and Peter Sutcliffe was a copycat killer. I don't believe that for a minute. He's just on YouTube, and he described in detail what he did and how he killed them. But we shall remember, because we won't glorify murder or killing in any way. We will remember the victims, no matter who or what they are. You don't judge them, because they weren't all prostitutes. Got to think at the time, this is no excuse, this is not justifying what they did. But at the time, in the 70s and 80s, times were really hard. You think times now are hard with what's going on now, with the increased household bills and everything. But it was hard then, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah,
so people
in the 80s.
went out, they were called street workers, sex workers, whatever you want to call them. So to a degree you can understand, because obviously they had to do that to make ends meet. So you can cast away all your judgments and stuff, because you don't know what puts them in that situation, and it can happen to you. You could be homeless, you could be anything. So don't judge them, Nick.
No.
Prostitutes. They're human.
I mean, don't judge anyone.
I think at the end of the day, they did it to provide for their family. It's a poor excuse, maybe, to even get proper jobs, but at the time, unemployment was high, wasn't it, as well?
Unemployment did 3 million in the 80s, isn't it?
In the 70s and 80s. So anyway, starting with Wilma McCann, Emily Jackson, Irene Richardson, Patricia Atkinson, Jane MacDonald, Jean Jordan, Yvonne Pearson, Helen Rutker, she was a twin, Vera Millwood, Josephine Whittaker, Barbara Leach, Margaret Walls, and Jacqueline Hill was the last one. I mean, they're too gruesome and graphic to sort of describe what happened. But he was caught. He tried to get away with it by pleading insanity. It didn't work. I don't think it did.
No, it didn't. It didn't work. He ended up in a proper prison in the end.
He was somewhere, and I can't remember the name of the place. It was a psychiatric hospital. And Jimmy Savile worked there as well, because he met him. There's a picture of him with the boxer Frank Bruno, would you believe it? And Frank Bruno said, oh, I was tricked into that. So what's your opinion of it, Nick?
Well, it shows that life should mean life. And when it's sometime before that, there was a lot of debates about should they bring back hanging for people who do horrific crimes, and the answer to that is I agree, they should. But it's capital punishment, they call it.
Yeah, to a degree, because they are a waste of space and taxpayers' money. But is it really a deterrent? Because people are still doing it anyway. But yeah, to a degree, because like I say, that's it. It's over and done. But that's then. It's like they escape justice. They're out of it. They're not being really punished or being rehabilitated in any way. Do you think prison rehabilitates people?
I think they should do more work for like national service or something like that, or anything like that, because I don't think it does rehabilitate people properly, because they come back out and they're doing crimes again, probably even on the same day.
Exactly, because there's no deterrent. Some people say that hanging is, but I doubt it, because I mean, innocent people get hanged as well, see, Nicholas?
Yeah.
But anyway, swiftly moving on.
Well, that shouldn't be, that innocent people shouldn't be tried.
Well, look what happened to James Hanratty, let him have it. That thing, he was hanged, but he was pardoned. But what good is that? He's not allowed to appreciate that.
He had a pardon, but if he had a pardon and he didn't do it in the first place, he would no need for a pardon, was it?
But anyways, let's not get off the subject here and not digress. So, still on the Ripper case, we left one thing out, one detail out, and that was the Ripper hoaxer. Now, for many years he escaped justice, but he perverted the course of justice by leading the Ripper team in the wrong direction. over in Sunderland. And you know what I'm talking about, the Ripper hoaxer, which turned out to be John Humble. Did you see that on the news?
John Humble. Oh,
Yeah, Iron Jack. I still see you, have no luck catching me. But George, I warned you in March. I have every respect for you, George. Yeah, but your boys are letting you down. Westside Jack from Sunderland. He was jailed in 2006 for 8 years. Do you think that's long enough?
And he would have come out in 2014 unless he came out before for...
But he died anyway, didn't he? Yeah.
The real George Oldfield, yeah.
We've had many similar incidents, sort of like, I suppose, mirroring the Yorkshire Ripper. There was that Steve Wright in 2006, December 2006, killing prostitutes. And what amazes me is that women used to write to this loony, Peter Sutcliffe, because he's a very, very dangerous man, because you can come across as normal. Your next door neighbour could be a murderer and just talk to you normal. You know, you could be. He was quite capable of being polite and charming, just like Nicky.
But you never know. you never know what's behind the mask, you could say, you know?
No.
You don't know.
But I'm going to do a follow-up of my previous video, because there's a few things I left out, so look out for that. I think, is that for you, or is it for the upstairs? And that's how we're calling. We've got to go now, and thank you so much for watching. And Nicholas, my long-suffering friend, long-serving friend, since 1977.
Yeah. And it's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from him.
The Celtic Dragon.
Oh yes, subscribe to the Celtic Dragon.
To Andrew,
his own channel, right?
On his Celtic Druids, which I've been invited in on.
I am the Celtic Druid, Andrew, and this is the Celtic Dragon, Nicholas. Nicholas Jones, the Celtic Dragon. Switch over to him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nicky has left the building.